and it was very, very hot. But this is a Glasgow tan, like bright red, mate.
Yeah, I know that feeling, mate. It's similar in Liverpool, exactly the same. I go red and peel, and that's it.
How are you guys, all of you? All right?
All good,
Yeah,
mate.
fantastic.
I've
Thanks.
listened to you this morning, mate, on your radio, as ever.
Oh man, I tell you, thank you. It's hard going. It's 3 hours, really intense. You've been on it a number of times, Martin. You just got to keep it going, and stop Martin Keown from physically attacking Simon.
Do you know that? Do you know? I was going to touch on that in a bit with you, but that how you manage them. Well, how you manage Simon. I love Simon. He's like my hero. But how you manage them every time, it must take some doing.
Oh, it's good. I mean, it gets you. You can feel it. It gets very tense in the studio now and again when they have a serious fallout. And of course, Simon could start a fight in an empty house. But
big ones, hasn't he? I know he's done with Stuart Pearce. He's done the Chisora when he had Eddie Hearn on recently. I mean, I was glued. I couldn't even move from it.
Are we recording this yet, Wayne? Are we recording this?
Yeah, start recording. To start, yeah. But I'm not used
to all this with Jim. It's great content.
Yeah, we'll
No, I'll tell you, even been over at Roland Garros, Martin, at the tennis, all the years I've done Sky, and the transfer deadline day and everything like this, but I've never, ever known instantaneous feedback like this show is getting. Even over in Paris, people were stopping me like, "Oh, where's Simon Jordan? Where's your mate?" And as soon as I opened my mouth, people, like you're on Talksport. It's incredible. But
is it the biggest listened to show you've got on there now, or up there?
I've no idea. I'm not sure, Joe. Is it? I think Breakfast gets a big audience, and their Drive one later. We get like on a daily basis 1.1 million.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. Yeah.
So I mean, long may it continue. It
is brilliant, mate. I've been listening to you before the days of Simon Jordan coming in, but when Simon came in, he seemed to go up another level. It seemed to, about 5 levels. It was just because he used to come on, didn't he? Were he just a Friday? He used to come on. One day a week, and then he went.
One day a week, yeah.
And I was like, I'd love it. I'd love him to be on more. And then when you announced that you were going to be you and him, I was like, wow, this is just unreal for radio.
Thank God he's not here to listen to this. His head's big enough, I can tell you.
Well, he'll have to come on now. You've been on. We'll have him on as well.
Oh, I'm sure he'll do that, Martin. I'm sure he will, mate. But
so it's going to be, we'll send you, Jim, before we publish it. So to Joe, so he can look at it and make sure you're happy with everything. But there'll be no surprises, mate. I'm going to be going through the 3 big cases where I felt it wouldn't have gone anywhere without your help, your personal profile. Do you remember Max Ormisher, the young 14-year-old ref, and his dad? Yeah. Remember, you were brilliant with Max Ormisher and his dad Graham. You had them on, game changer. That resulted in, and I'll repeat all this when we're recording. That resulted in a change of rules of how they do discipline hearings for referees under the age of 18. Massive impact. And then you had another one, mate, Gareth Carlisle. Do you remember that we had a video when you put up on a website and you had me on and him on? He got headbutters, but the police said, because you win, there was no damage, we're not going to arrest him. And then you put the video out and you said it's a disgrace. The next day, a player was arrested and he got found guilty in court. And that was all because of you. And then Sam Tocky was another one, what you did. And where I'm framing this, and the boys want to throw their own bit on, is how engaging with people like yourself and other people in the media is really give grassroots football so much more protection than ever before.
Absolutely. I mean, but I'm not going to take all the praise, mate, because you've done your bit to push and agitate as well, and it's our job to be doing this. So, it's really important.
Save it. Should we get going? Because before you two get into a conversation, I'm going to lose it all. But yeah, let's. But what I'll do, Jim, how long have we got roughly? Just like
I want your Christian names before we start. I know Martin, obviously.
I'm Wayne. And Wayne.
Both Wayne.
2 Wayne.
He's Rylesy, and I'm Baker.
Wayne's. So they're both called Wayne. Yeah, the 2 Waynes.
Wayne 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, have you got? How long have we got? Just so I can keep time for you, so we don't overrun you and make you late for anything else. Just so I can make sure we.
No, it's fine. We're off here now. Go until you're comfortable.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
And when I put it out, because I'm the one who produces it and puts together and edits it. There'll be nothing cut or anything. It'll just be exactly how it's done, basically. So there'll be no surprises, like Martin said. So there's nothing to worry about, not to make you sound any worse or put any kind of controversial spin, just to make you feel a bit more at ease with it, really.
Try and make me sound as good as you possibly can.
Oh, mate, listen, you don't need that, mate. I mean, honestly, like, I'll get into
it. Man love here.
Yeah, I listen to you every day. No matter whether I'm in a car, I'm in a garden, whatever I'm doing, I listen to you every day.
That's kind of you.
I'm a huge fan. So, should we get going?
Yeah.
Wayne, your mic doesn't sound great.
Mine?
It's tinny.
What about now?
It's a bit better.
It's a bit better.
Yeah.
I've been messing about with this mic, so is it sounding all right now?
Better than you were.
Okay. Let's have a look at that. So, let's get started. Britain is basking in red hot sunshine, and here on the Red Pod, we're about to catch fire, because joining me and the two Goaty brothers this morning is arguably the most famous guest we've had to date. Is the maestro of mid-morning radio, king of transfer deadline day. He had a red nap in his car. He brought you the world famous yellow tie, and he's fresh off the mammoth radio show that I am a huge fan of this morning, keeping Messrs Keown and Jordan separated. I cannot be any more excited to welcome onto the air. This is a dream come true for me, Mr. Jim White. Thank you, mate. Thank you for taking time out and joining us this morning. It's unreal.
Wayne, thank you very much indeed for having me. I've got to say, I've never had an introduction like that. And it's one that I'm going to have to live up to. So Wayne and Martin, I'm delighted to be with you guys. And I love the yellow ties. Seriously, fantastic. Send me the bills. Well done with that. Beautiful touch. Beautiful touch.
It's hard honour, isn't it, Wayne?
Yeah, listen, this was Martin's idea, actually. I'll give Martin all the credit for this. And we all raced to Amazon to get them ordered and get them here in time. Thank God for Prime. So we've got them on. I weren't wearing a shirt, though, because, oh, man, it's hot today. So we've got loads. I know we're going to try and cram as much into this as we can, because it really is going to be interesting to get your take on a lot of things. Martin's going to start. Obviously, you've got some really important things. He's been on your show before, and he's got some really important things he wants to get out here. And so, Martin, over to you. Take it away. Let's start with your really important things that you want to get out there.
No, thanks, mate. And again, it is, you've got lots of man love going on here, Jim. So I have to be prepared for it.
This is great. Wayne, thank you for that again.
He thoroughly deserves. Mate, what the angle I want to come at today is, I don't think people understand how important you've been for changing the game for grassroots referees. Genuinely believe people don't realise what you've done. And you might remember a case of a 14-year-old ref about 4 years ago. Do you remember his name?
Max.
Max, there you go. You remember it? Yeah, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max Ormisher, yeah, and because he was a 14-year-old lad, went to a hearing. His dad was Graham, and he was really angry because the regulation with the FA was to the 14-year-old, anyone's got to go to this hearing if they get called, and he gets sort of interviewed by the person who was the ones that was threatening and abusing him, and it's just a massive safeguard issue. That no one was really listening to us. We complained to the FA and other people. When it comes to you, the things started moving for the better.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll be honest with you, Martin. It's a topic that creates so much debate. When I'm sitting there in the studio with Simon Jordan, I've got a huge screen in front of me. And when one subject that obviously creates a lot of attention is transfers, and a lot of fans get involved in that, and they talk about what we're talking about. But when it comes to issues like this, Martin, the debate out there that gets fired up amongst the listeners is quite incredible. The reaction to that with young Max was amazing, and we were open-mouthed by it. I must admit, Martin, I was caught by surprise at how so many people wanted to get engaged with the topic and wanted to support Max. And we thought, well, we're onto something here. But listen, you guys have been so kind praising us here at TalkSport for getting involved in it. It's our job, Martin. It's our job to be covering aspects of the game like this, because people's very safety can be threatened. Their very existence is threatened, and it's not fair. It shouldn't happen. And of course, we get right behind young Max, and I'm delighted that progress has been made on that front. But we wouldn't be doing our job, Martin, if we didn't get involved lock, stock and barrel in a conversation such as this. And I'm thrilled that we have, and I'm thrilled at the outcome, because that's why we do what we do, to be quite honest.
Massive. You've been brilliant. And then, of course, the other one was, I might not remember, it was Gareth Carlisle, where on video, got caught headbutters. He got headbutters. But because there was no big damage or that, the police weren't even going to arrest the guy. They knew who he was, had a team sheet. We talked to you, and you were like, come on, let's get on. The guys who do all the website for you put the video on the website, and they weren't listening to this guy. He was on his own. Then you got involved. You put it on your show, and within 24 hours of being on your show, they'd arrested someone who ended up getting charged and found guilty of assault. Would never have happened without you, Jim.
Well, again, Martin, I'm delighted about that. It goes without saying, and the two Waynes will probably endorse this. When Simon lends support to something as well, Martin, people tend to tune in, and they think, okay, well, Simon Jordan's backing it, I'll back it. And of course, we gave it our wholehearted support, because how could we not? How could we not? And again, when it comes to the only right and fair conclusion, Martin, was the one you just described, because an injustice was being seen to be done. And, somebody had become the victim of something that they did not deserve in any shape or form to become a victim of. So that's why we got involved. That's why we put it in the public domain. And those little edited bits that go out later on in the day on Talk Sports, quite incredible, the number of hits and the number of views that these things can get. Even after we go off air at 1 o'clock, the conversation still goes on. We're live on YouTube and Facebook every day, and people talk about what we're talking about. And there's no end of things that we can do in this area, Martin. You never know. I might be talking to you three good guys today at the very inception of something. This might just be the beginning of something, Martin, because now we've got to do is keep it going.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And that's what we've always said. There's a place in the area for this sort of podcast where we have people like yourself who is really behind it, but because of various timescales, we can't really get that voice out. And like I said, the last episode was our first guest. We had Andy Ambler from the FA. You don't get much higher than Andy Ambler. Yeah. And he was just so open and frank, saying we're not doing enough. It's not just words, and having that backed up by people like you. It's just I really feel much more comfortable than ever that the FA are going to do something positive with the body cam pilot. We lobbied for 4 years. Again, you were massive in that year, massive. That was a world change of law you encouraged, helping us. A world change in law football. That's what you encouraged.
When you put it like that, Martin, then I sort of pinch myself and I think, yeah, we are doing something right. Just on Andy Ambler, I've known him since his days at Millwall. And I used to interview Andy, as you might imagine, at some pretty uncomfortable moments in Millwall's history. But Andy was never one to hide or duck the invitation to do an interview. One thing I will tell you, Martin, and you two boys as well, and a bit of breaking news, I was at each of the playoff matches at the end of the season there at Wembley, and Andy Ambler was at each of the playoff matches, and Andy Ambler is one for hospitality. Martin, does he love a free drink? Nice. I saw him there. He had a free sandwich and a free drink in his hand. And I was saying, what are we drinking today, Andy? But he's a good guy and does what he says and means what he says. So he's a good guy to have on board.
Likewise. Well, we had what's the name? Jeff Winter on. We haven't published this one yet. And he was the referee in the cup final, FA Cup final, when it was in Man United Millwall, wasn't it, Wayne?
Yeah. It was kind of for a time, we felt like the podcast somehow kept coming back to Millwall. They were kind of Millwall just kept floating around in there. But yeah, no, he was. I mean, Jeff Winter were an awesome character when we had Jeff on, and I mean, he moaned at us about he missed his tea, but actually, in actual fact, it was Jeff that kept talking, not us. So,
he can talk.
Yeah, but he were great in some of his stories. I mean, we've had some amazing. We've had Sam Wallace on. We had Peter Walton on Friday before, obviously the Champions League final on Saturday. So it's been a massive start for us. Massive start with some big guests.
but that's good. But the subject matter is important, and you three guys know your subject matter. So that's why I was only too keen to get involved, Martin. Joe Alborough, who's the assistant producer here of our show, as you probably know, Martin, is a level 4 referee himself, and he takes it very seriously. And Joe was saying, we got to do this. We got to do this for the guys. So listen, I'm not good, guys, but I'm cheap and punctual.
I want to. Martin, have you covered the bits that you wanted to cover? Because I know you were really important to get them on there.
Yeah, there was a little bit about Satyam Toki I wanted to talk about, which is another game changer. That video went viral. That was over 1 million views. And I know that out of all of it, that really, because it was visuals, cut eye, and not just punching once, punching them 3 times. And the Met Police just giving a caution in the end. That was another moment of a threshold being crossed where you were clearly showing your outrage out like we were. It's always so sincere with you, Jim. You follow up your words by actions, by getting us on again and talking to us. So that's the one. And I know Satyam really appreciated how you were with him when you had him on too, mate. So I just wanted to flash that up.
That's kind of you again. But Wayne, what I would say on him, we spoke to him that morning, and it's one thing getting in touch with a fellow like that at a time like that, but it's a whole lot another matter. Him summoning up the courage to come on and come to air, and to speak to an audience of 1.2 million people. But he did it. He didn't. He didn't duck it. He did it, and he was very emotional. It was tough for him. Again, my assistant producer here, Joe, and I spoke to him, Martin, before he came to air, and I may as well tell you, the three of you, he was very emotional about the whole matter, and he felt that he'd been wrongly harmed, as he had been, and we were only too pleased that he summoned up the courage and had the bottle to come to air and spoke about it. And of course, I think that set an example that many hopefully will follow should they need to do so, Wayne.
I mean, for me,
Wayne, do you mind if I butt in?
No, yeah, go on.
Both me and Wayne are referees at grassroots level.
I'm very interested in your choice of duvet cover behind you. That's a beautiful.
It's really nice. Oh, it's a Dunelm.
OnlyFans scene, that is. OnlyFans.
We're both me and Wayne are referees at grassroots level, and we don't charge. We do it for the love of the reffing. And it's, a lot of people can say, why the hell do you even bother with the flack that you get? But it's support. Support like, what we get from Martin, and on shows like you where, you're voicing, look after, protect and respect the refs. It's fantastic. So, from a grassroots ref point of view, for your support and everything, I've just got to say thanks as well.
No, I mean, Wayne, again, I would say that this is part of what we do. This is part of honouring our obligation to jump in and get involved in a topic when we think fit. And my goodness, of course, how could we not think not to get involved in this? The two Waynes, can I ask you, why do you do what you do? Because I've often said to referee Joe here, you're a level 4 referee, and it's a lot of his time and a lot of his effort and his commitment. But he does it, and he seems to love it. Why do you guys do it?
Well, the story behind us, it might be love. It's not. It didn't start as love. It started because I set up a club. Basically, my son plays for a team. I managed it. We had a bit of a poor experience and another club, and I was like, I'm a bit fed up. And me and my wife decided, well, let's set up his own club. So we did that 2 years ago with one team. We've now going to have 10 teams this year going into this next season in 2 years. So it's all junior football, ranges from under 7s to under 15s. We're trying to get one in every age group, really, and then enter girls football. And it was like, well, we need refs. We've got to have refs. So like, all right, I don't mind doing it. So I went to do it, learned how to be a ref, and then Wayne came on board with his team, got him involved, persuaded him to be a ref, and then we've got others. And because of the club being brand new, and what we try to do is give more than what we actually receive. So in terms of what we charge for a club per child, let's say it's really, really low. But I want to give them everything. I want to give them the best grassroots experience I can. So they've got home kit, away kit, training kit, all the equipment.
Super.
All this for less than £10 a month. It's £100 for the year for the subs. So on top of that, we have to do a lot of fundraising because we get nothing back, nothing. I often hear about the pyramid and how it doesn't trickle down. It really doesn't. There's not. I don't feel any of it as a chairman of a junior football club. So then we have to raise money. So we've got 10 teams. We've got 4 refs, me, Wayne, two other adults, and none of us take any money out of it. And the reason why I'm here, and we've got Martin here and Wayne here, is because I've just finished doing 3 years at uni doing a film and TV production course. And for my final piece, I've done a documentary about a grassroots ref, about protect and respect and no ref, no game. And I heard Martin on your show, and I contacted him and said, I'm not having any luck. Nobody from the FA is responding to me. Can you come on? And he came on, and then we kind of hit it off. And then from there, Martin said, do you want to do a podcast? So I was like, yeah, because I've done radio before, only locally. I did a show for 7 years locally. I love all production. I'm setting up my own little bit doing that. And I was like, this would be perfect. And then we've only been doing it for a few weeks. And every day Martin's going, we've got this guest, we've got this guest. But to do it, I mean, I haven't released the documentary. That's going to be in the next few weeks. But it's so important to kind of give a different angle on the game, because what people don't understand, and I say this at a club level, I say this to parents who are having a moment, I say this to players who are having a moment with referees. If this doesn't stop, this is not me messing about. This is no joke. There's literally going to be no football games, because I'm telling you, without a referee, we can't have these games. All these thousands and thousands of games of football that go off up and down the country, on weekends, midweeks. The requirements, and not just players, they're not just coaches, it's not just having the pictures, it's the man in the middle. And if you haven't got him, everything falls to pieces.
It's a great point.
To be able to do this,
and perfectly. Yeah.
Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I think it's a great point. And you're absolutely right, Wayne. Where will it get to if we do see a marked decrease in people coming forward wanting to be referees? Where will the game get to? This is a worry, Martin, and people don't take this into account enough. You guys are giving of your time, doing something you thoroughly enjoy, but giving of your time for the love of it. And the other, Wayne, I think you're nodding, mate. You think the same. You wanted to do something like this because you want to do something. You want to do something for the game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't live in an affluent area. We've got, a lot of kids below the poverty line and the like, and to see them on that field in our colours, really enjoying themselves and having a break from, the horrible thing that's life at the minute, and to be able to give them that without having to charge for it, so that this club can keep them low fees, so these kids can still afford it. I mean, there are times when we'll even, we've paid for a couple of kids ourselves. It's massive, it's huge, and learning the game from a referee angle is amazing. And I would even say everybody needs to referee at least one game before they're allowed to be pro. Because
great point.
The angle that it gives you is enormous. It's a game changer to get it from this angle. So the podcast to give the views and opinions from this side as well only enhances it further.
I think, Wayne, what we've tried to do in this show, Jordan, myself, and others, is show that at every level of the game, at every level of refereeing, these people have feelings. These guys have feelings like everybody else. You're only human. And that's why I want to get behind referees at each and every level. And Martin, what I would say is this, and I mentioned to my colleague Joe, I was going to mention this to you. I went away overnight last season to a Premier League match. So it's a fair old distance away. And I say that because I won't say the two teams involved, because I'm going to talk about the officials. I got in a train afterwards, Martin, after the match, and it was a great match. And of course, at the station, there's a lot of people, because I was in Sky so long, is Jim White, blah, 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 blah. I got on the train was mobbed with football fans, and quite a number were around me. And these two fellas came up to me, and like, Jimmy, all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, guys. So it got a bit quieter, and they stood with me. And one of them went away and said, actually, there's three free seats through here. Jim, do you want to come and join us? And I sat down, and these were two officials from the match I just watched, Martin.
Oh, really?
Right. The Premier League match I'd just been at.
Wow. And
they said, "You don't recognise us, do you? We were both running the line today at the match." And I said, "Whoa, God, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't. No, it's no problem. Just in case anything if you're getting a bit hot under the collar with some of the people through there, just sit with us. We'll get a couple of cups of tea." And I sat with them all the way back to London. And they were great company. Fabulous company.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
We spoke off the record, of course, about what they do. They were telling me about what they do. And they could not have been nicer. We get to London, Martin, we get to King's Cross, and one of them said to me, where are you heading to now, Jim? And I said, I'm just going down to where I live, just down near London Bridge. Okay, I'll just pop down to the platform, just make sure you get in your train.
Wow.
Great guys. Premier League officials, and I didn't know it. And they looked after me. Mind you, I am 65, getting on 66, so I take a bit of looking after, Mark.
Well, you look. Listen, if I look half as good as you at 65, I'll be happy, Jim.
I'll be just happy to get to 65. I don't care how I look. As long as I get there, I'll be okay with that.
But that's my point, guys. How nice of them to do that for me.
Do you know, can I ask you, Jim, with that? Do you think, I mean, obviously, we've had some really positive conversations recently. Andy Amler gave us some amazing information about the changes that he's already done, the changes that they're looking at bringing in. They're on about trialing the, did you see the Monday Night Football where Howard Webb released the audio of the referee and the linesman? So he's talking about that being trialed in the Women's World Cup that's coming up.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, obviously, as we hope that the attitudes change towards referee, especially given the Anthony Taylor situation, which I'm sure we'll touch on briefly as we go forward. Did you think being on that train with those football fans, based on it being a game that you said was quite, you said it was controversial, or it was hard? It was a great game, but tough. Is it good that
they were in a good mood?
Is it good that they're probably all right then? Is it good that they weren't noticed, do you think, as running the line?
Do you know what, Wayne? That's a very good point. I honestly don't know whether they were or whether they weren't. They were keeping a low profile, but not low enough as to not approach me and say, "Come and join us. Come and have a, come and have a chat with us." And it's quite funny. The point you make is a good one, Wayne. Like Anthony Taylor in that car park when Mourinho had, ridiculous access to screaming ball and shout whatever he wanted at him. These two lads were on the train coming back, very public, very open. And had any of the supporters on the train recognized them for maybe a wrong reason, and both officials in that game, what I would stress, had played blinders. They were absolutely brilliant. Their performances were absolutely excellent. No mistakes whatsoever, not even close to a mistake. They were very happy with their performances. So the fans on the train in no way would be looking to make a point to either one of them. They recognized them. Yeah. But you're right. The point's a good one.
If it had been a different game and the result had not gone that way, it could have been a different scenario. In terms of, I listen, I love it when Simon talks about UEFA because he tells me stuff that I'm like, wow, really? So I think the general football fan, you look at obviously the booing now from Liverpool fans in terms of what happened last year in Paris. You're talking about, obviously, I listened to you this morning. They're talking about problems at the Atatürk with Man City fans on Saturday night.
Yeah,
we could go on and on and on about UEFA, and obviously the good stuff we're hearing in terms of what Andy Amler said, and I know obviously UEFA is its own kind of itself, and my worry is does it take on board a lot of what's being thrown at, or is it just put it aside? And the reason why I ask you that is because we talked on here a little bit about Anthony Taylor and saying anybody with a little bit of common sense would have known, given how bad that game. I watched that game. I have never in my life seen a final or any game of football where I don't even know how many coaches were booked in there, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Put him in that position for one. But I wanted to tie this into, I thought it was really interesting this morning when I heard about Manchester City fans' experience at the Champions League final, because this is nothing new at the Atatürk. I went there in 2007 to watch Liverpool in the Champions League final against Athens. And all those stories I was hearing this morning I don't know if you can remember this back in 2007. They didn't actually have it. They used it for the Olympic Park for when Athens had the Olympics. Not Athens. Sorry, I'm totally wrong. It was Athens I went to, so not the Atatürk. And they had it at Olympic Park, and they had no turnstiles to stop people getting. I don't know if you can remember this in 2007. There was a massive uproar because people were just pushing their way in, and it caused a bit of a panic in the stadium when I was there. But when I came out, it was total chaos. I heard a guy today talk about buses, and it was 2 hours or whatever, 4 hours to do 15 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can remember when I come out of the Athens one in 2007, they took us loads of buses. They just got on any bus, just to get on any bus to take you back to airport. We got on, and when we got there, we were literally stood on the tarmac looking at planes, and they said all the UEFA officials had gone to all the airport officials had gone to UEFA Champions League after parties, so nobody was in control of letting the planes take off or land. So you're stuck here now until the morning. So my flight was due, I don't know, 4 hours after the final whistle had gone. But in actual fact, it didn't take off till about 9 o'clock the following morning because there was nobody allowing planes to take off from Athens Airport. And that was another UEFA thing. So, and then there's one last, it just seems to be they never learn, or either they never learn or they're not bothered.
Well, again, that gets down to people like us. Are we doing enough? I mean, while we were on air today, regarding the Manchester City triumph on Saturday night, all was not good in terms of the arrangements for the supporters, probably for Inter Milan supporters as well, Wayne. But while we are on air, we actively email UEFA and say, we're debating this issue. We're debating this topic. We need a response. We need a response from you. And thus far, and my assistant producer, Joe, sitting beside me, Wayne, I can tell you we're off air almost an hour now. We haven't had a response from UEFA. So this is what I mean, Martin, about it's our job. This is part of our job. It is our job to push and agitate and get responses where we feel an injustice has been done, where we think something has been overlooked in a fairly substantial and unfair way. And anything that comes our way on that, we take up the cudgel, we take the issue on board, and we go after the people involved. So we'll continue to try and push for answers for Manchester City fans in this instance, regards to Ataturk.
Do you know, in terms of your, you obviously have lots of dealings, or try to get lots of dealings with UEFA. What have you got an expected response, or do you think there won't be a response?
I'll make sure of it, Wayne.
Keep going.
I'll make sure of it. I'll go after him if I have to himself, so that we hear from them. Normally, you get a bog standard acknowledgement. Sure, we acknowledge your points made, and we take them on board. The matter's being investigated. But even at that, we won't stop. We'll try. It's the journalism, and the journalist in me means you cannot stop. You can't just take that.
So you get the answer
as a suitable and a convenient, in their terms, response. We got to get more than that out of you, and we'll push to get more than that out of you, because it's our job to do it.
And I guess as well, given the fact of what you're pushing it with, that the might of TalkSport behind you and the listener base you got, they cannot possibly just keep pushing you to one side, can they? You want the answers. You're there to get the answers. No. You're not moving until we get them.
It was a good point you made, Wayne, about Howard Webb. Howard Webb was on the Monday Night Football with Carragher and Neville and David Jones, who I know well. And they were talking about these advances that are being made regarding VAR in conjunction with refereeing of a match, etc., and how decisions are made, how they're arrived at. And the following morning, we had Howard Webb in the studio where we broadcast from in the morning in there. And he came in and gave half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, I think it was. And he would have willingly given us more time. So much so, we said to Howard in a commercial break, and we kind of put him on the spot, Martin. We said, now, one thing we haven't said, you okay to take a couple of calls on this from listeners? And really? Howard was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Brilliant.
And he did.
I thought that was planned, Jim. I thought that was planned when they took the calls. It's a bit like... what happened to me when I was on your show and you had Neil Warnock on the other line, and we had a bit of a ding dong when it first happened. I was thinking, thanks, lads. I wish you had the heads up on that, but it worked out because that got the discussion. And that's what people have said to me. I just think TalkSport would have been unfair on you, just like not telling you Warnock was on. I said, no, because I can defend my corner, planned or not planned. And what happened there was that went really viral, didn't it? And but it got discussed. It got this bit discussed where my main point there with Neil Warnock was, why did you go after the referee and give him stick? Because a player headbutted one of your players. Why didn't you go to the player who headbutted your player? People tend to go, something happens because the referee's missed it, but you go to the ref. So having those sorts of little on the moment times, like you said,
of the moments. Yeah. And I think TalkSport, guys, is I have found, even after my experience at Sky, Martin, I've found that this medium is incredible for that. And the audience just love it. When I always say on TalkSport and Transfer Deadline Day, expect the unexpected. Well, that's exactly the same here. I mean, when Joey Barton get drummed out of Rangers, we had loads of calls on about, Barton said this and Barton said this, and that some of the players weren't good enough, blah, blah, blah. In a commercial break, I went out without telling anybody. And I said to the producer, phone this number. When we come back, welcome back. We're talking about Joey Barton being having his contract terminated by Rangers. Is it right? Is it wrong? Well, let's find out more. Joey Barton, good morning.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when he came, and I think that's our job to do that. Kevin De Bruyne got a huge new contract to Manchester City. And again, I thought behind the scenes, what can we do? What can we do? And I phoned someone at Manchester United during a commercial break, lined it up, and I said, well, Manchester City, De Bruyne, the big topic of conversation this morning, but we're not forgetting about the red half of the city. Let's find out what is going on with them. Bruno Fernandes, good morning.
Brilliant.
Superb.
Brilliant.
So it's that kind of thing, isn't it? You know, you got to do that. And on that day with Howard Webb, he bought into it. Of course, I'll take a call or two. And that's exactly why these things go viral, Martin, as you rightly say.
No, you're right. The other way once has got a great question.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've done a bit on refereeing. I want to go a little bit into you now, into a little bit more fun, a little bit less serious. Just in terms of where we all know you from. Obviously, you made. Was it a transfer deadline day before you started wearing yellow ties? I'm not so sure.
But Lil Wayne was one worth remembering.
Yeah, Lil Wayne has got a little bit of a question.
Yeah, it was
pop your way.
Obviously the yellow tie, the countdown, an absolute game changer and well worth watching. Back in 2019, I think it was when Bury FC were going under. And you did that alternative. You still had the countdown, how long we've got left to save them. You had the blue tie, but you got a bit of flack about it. And I thought it was fantastic. If you had the opportunity to do something like that again, would you?
Do you know, that's such a good question, Wayne. I remember it at the time, and I walked onto a platform, a presentation platform. And of course, it was an extremely important issue for every Bury fan that Bury were facing going out of business in a matter of time, and just how critical has it got. And one of the producers at Sky had decided, rightly or wrongly, stick him on there and we'll stick a countdown clock behind him. And I remember at the time, and I'm not trying to vindicate myself in this in any shape or form, I didn't have anything to do with the decision that was made regarding the countdown clock. With the benefit of hindsight, I don't think it was a good idea, Wayne. And I look back in that thinking, no, what did it look like if you're a Bury fan? It looked like they're effectively counting down to my club may or may not going out of business. And it was just too much for some Bury fans to bear. It was too much for all of them to bear. And it looked as if, well, not long to go now, guys. Look at that. Not long to go now. And you're thinking, well, hang on. You're not talking about a transfer here. You're not talking about whether a transfer is going to happen or not within an allotted time. You're talking about a football club either staying in or not staying in business.
It was death watch.
Death watch. And I think it was maybe with hindsight, not a good decision. But do you know what? You live and learn. You live and learn. And you're right, Wayne. I took a lot of flack for that on social media, but I'll let you three guys into a secret. I take a lot of flack on social media on a very regular basis. And it goes with the territory. It goes with the territory. And you've got to be tough enough to take it. And thankfully, I've grown to be tough enough to take it.
Good man.
Speaking of transfer deadline day, I want to ask you which transfer, since you've done it, took you completely by surprise, like you wasn't expecting it, just like, wow, what's the best one that just dropped you, like came totally left field?
Yeah, that's a great question. There have been more than a few, Wayne, I have to say. I mean, I've been involved in so many. I remember Gareth Bale going to Real Madrid, world record fee, but I knew the build up to that one because I was talking to Madrid and I was talking to Tottenham. And I was talking to the agent who was kind of acting for both parties because Tottenham and Real Madrid had fallen out with each other. So I knew that was happening in the back. Mesut Ozil to Arsenal was a huge one. I always remember that because of the impact it made on Arsenal fans that night. And isn't it funny how the arrival of a stellar name like Mesut Ozil can be totally different to the mood the Arsenal fans had when the departure for Mesut Ozil came along. They were totally different moods amongst a football fan base. But there have been so many. Even before I went to Sky, Wayne, I can tell you that some of the big stories. I was at Scottish TV. You might not know I'm Scottish, with an accent like this. And I was at Scottish TV, and I'd done a documentary on Graham Souness, who was playing for Sampdoria at that time in Italy. And I'm sure Graham will be all right about me telling you guys this. No doubt people will pick up on it. But Graham Souness and I kept in touch, Martin. When I came back to Scotland after that, and Souness was playing for Sampdoria and blah, blah, blah. And then one Friday night, Graham and I kept in touch, and I got a phone call from Souness, and he said, listen, what are you doing on Monday? And I said, what'd you ask? He said, oh, I'm coming over to Glasgow. I'm coming over. It's a big charity event. I'm like, yeah. He said, be at the airport. You should be at the airport to meet me. I'm like, really? Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I can do that. He said, look, let's cut to the chase. You're talking to the new player manager of Glasgow Rangers.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's like, and my reaction was exactly like yours. Wow. I'm like, what? So I turned up at the airport on the Monday night, but I turned up with a camera crew because it was too good to let go. Yeah. I think that story then made me realize if you can get information and you can get it out there first and fastest, then you're doing something right. And deadline day came along and it proved to be incredible. I mean, honestly, going into Sky, I had guys at sets of traffic lights hanging out vans going, where's your yellow tie? Sir Alex Ferguson, time he used to meet me in later years, Sir Alex, I would say to Sir Alex, how are you? And he would say to me, I'm fine, where's your yellow tie? And it became something like iconic, and I still feel so privileged having been involved, Martin, in so many of them. It was a great thrill, Wayne, to be there, and you think you're getting it through your earpiece, and you're about to tell millions of people what you know, and only you know it. And yeah,
I mean, it was massive. I mean, I can remember the time you even got Premier League footballers tweeting and, you know, screenshotting you and watching it and waiting for big news. I mean, it literally were like front and center of everything on that day, and everybody was interested. It was just amazing, really.
It gets to fever pitch. It absolutely gets to fever. Having said that, Wayne, I mean, may as well admit it. There were some deadline days that were not as brilliant and buoyant, as active as others. I mean, I can remember saying to a huge studio in front of me and a massive number of people in my earpiece, I said, and we are getting a bit of breaking news, incidentally. Stick with me, a short break. We're back after this. And they were saying to me, what's the breaking news? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just keeping it going. You know, you're maintaining the hype to a degree without really overhyping it. But it's been a great privilege. It's great fun to be involved in it. It's great fun, primarily. It's great fun.
Superb. Well, look, I know we're pushing for time, and I don't want to keep you too much today because obviously you're a busy man and you've been on air for 3 hours this morning, so that voice may be ready for a break.
No
worries. Just before you do go, and I wanted to put this in mind. I said, "Oh, you're not going to have a go." I said, "No, I'm not going to have a go at all." I spoke to you.
Have a go.
No, it's not about you. It's not about you at all. I'll tell you the person it was. But I spoke to you before. I rang in 2019, and Liverpool had just been knocked out of the FA Cup, fielded a rubbish team. I think I was there actually the day they got knocked out, went to the game. So I was livid anyway. And you had on Mickey Gray, and he was slamming Liverpool, slamming them really bad. And it was the year they won the Champions League. And it was saying, you know, they're out of the FA Cup, they're never going to win the league, even though they were going toe-to-toe that year with City. And he was saying they're never going to win the Champions League, they're not winning anything. And I was like, how can he say that? Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005 and they never should have got nowhere near it. So I rang up and we had a really serious debate with Mickey Gray. And in the end, I did win. He had nothing left to say to me. I said, I'm just asking you to prove to me how you can tell me that we've got no chance based on Klopp, the players, what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And you got me out of a bit of a hole that day because I was in the bad books from having a bit of a heavy Saturday night. And can you remember we used to do Wick's Caller of the Day?
Your good self.
Yeah, you voted me as Caller of the Day, and I got 100 quid for Wick's.
Oh, wait, I was going to say, mate, what did they end up doing? Did they paint your house or paint your garage or something for you?
No, well, I got a voucher and I gave it to my missus, and she went and spent it at Wick's. So happy got me out of jail, that one. But yeah, you voted me as Wick's Caller of the Day, and I've still got the recording somewhere to this day on my phone. And every now and again, I'll pop it up in a group chat that I've got with my mates, and I say, just remember when I schooled Mickey Gray on TalkSport. It's all there for you to have another listen.
See, Wayne, that sets you against me, the other Wayne and Martin, because none of us have ever come close to being Wick's Caller of the Day, mate.
No, never.
So we can only congratulate you and bow to that. Congratulations. But we're here for you, Martin. I mean, one thing I want to say to you before I do go, we are contactable. You can always get in touch with me. Simon's up for it. We will, any issue that you think we should air, we will air it, because it's all about getting the right result, the right conclusion, and we're the voice to do it.
Mate, thank you, Jim. It's a great way to end the podcast, because honestly, the media and some people have pops at TalkSport and other people in the media, and I honestly believe without you helping us give a voice, the game would not be as good as it is now for grassroots referees. And I know that people are saying we have got more people joining the refereeing family, but they're just not going out as much. So the numbers look good for the FA, and they'll admit that. But the people aren't going out because of these things that happen. And the more we discuss them, the more we draw the curtains back, like Howard said, and the more we got people like you and Simon getting behind us and doing things like this, the game's going to change for the better. So thank you from bottom of my heart, Jim.
Let's stay tight knit together as this, and we'll continue to do it. We'll continue to do it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jim.
Super.
Take us out then, Wayne.
Yeah, Jim, I can't thank you enough, mate. It's an absolute pleasure and an honour for me to message speak to you today. No, it's like Martin's making all my dreams come true. I'm waiting for John Barnes on Martin. That's the next one. So
I love a word.
It's been a pleasure. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on, mate, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Will do. Thanks, guys, and well done for wearing the ties.
Yeah, no, you're welcome, mate. Absolutely.
They're really cheap as well, aren't they?
All the best to you.
Thank you. So,
wow.
Yeah, Jim White has gone. I'm going to wrap this up right here.
Yeah.
Then we can have a little chat before we're done. So, wow, I've got nothing else to say. Wow. I know people have been getting in touch with us. Keep getting in touch with us. Keep sharing us. Keep subscribing at the Ref Pod on pretty much everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on Deezer, if you're watching us on YouTube, it is at the Ref Pod. Pretty simple, at the Ref Pod. Like, subscribe, and share and comment, because we love to speak to people that listen to the show. Tell us what you love. Tell us what you hate. We don't mind either way. Guys, absolute pleasure. We're going to go and enjoy the sunshine, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Have a good one.
Absolutely. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.